Turkish get-ups aren't just some complicated exercise that only serious athletes do. They're one of the few exercises that can completely transform how your body looks and feels. Most people haven't even heard of this exercise, but I'm going to show you what really happens to your body when you start doing it consistently. The first thing that changes, your ability to get up from the ground. This might not sound like a big deal when you're younger, but you're going to want to hear why this matters more than you think. Most people gradually lose the ability to get up from the floor gracefully as they age. They start avoiding situations where they might end up on the ground because they're not confident they can get back up easily. This isn't just about pride or embarrassment. The ability to get up from the ground is directly linked to longevity and independence. Studies show that people who can easily transition from lying down to standing without using their hands or struggling have better overall health outcomes and live longer, more active lives. Turkish get-ups teach your body exactly this skill, but they do it while you're holding a weight overhead. What looks like just a complicated way to stand up quietly sets off a chain reaction, and you'll see one of the biggest shifts your body will have later on in the video. Every time you practice this movement, you're rehearsing one of the most important skills for maintaining independence as you age. You're building the strength, coordination, and confidence to move between different positions without fear or struggle. But here's where it gets really interesting. As you master the Turkish get-up, something amazing happens to your shoulder stability. Most people have shoulders that are either too tight or too loose, but rarely just right. Years of sitting, poor posture, and repetitive movements create shoulders that are unstable and prone to injury. The Turkish get-up forces your shoulder to work in every possible position while supporting weight. You start lying down with the weight directly above your shoulder, then maintain that position as you roll, sit up, kneel, and stand. Your shoulder has to stay stable and strong through all these different angles and positions. This builds what I call bulletproof shoulders. Not because they'll never hurt, but because they become incredibly stable and resilient. All the little muscles that support your shoulder joint get stronger and learn to work together as a team. Your shoulder blade muscles learn to keep your shoulder in the right position no matter how you're moving. After a few weeks of Turkish get-ups, many people notice their shoulder pain starts to disappear. They can reach overhead without discomfort. Sleeping on their side doesn't cause shoulder problems anymore. Their shoulders feel strong and stable in ways they haven't experienced in years. And once your shoulders start working properly, your core gets involved in a way that will blow your mind. Forget everything you think you know about core training. Turkish get-ups build the kind of core strength that actually matters for real life. Throughout the entire movement, your core has to work constantly to keep you stable and controlled. But it's not the same kind of core work you get from planks or crunches. Your core has to work while you're moving through different positions, changing levels, and dealing with shifting weight distribution. This teaches your core to be strong and stable in every position you might find yourself in during daily life. Your deep core muscles learn to fire automatically to protect your spine, whether you're bending over, reaching up, or moving in any direction. This is functional core strength that translates directly to feeling stronger and more stable in everything you do. But we're just getting started with the benefits. Let's talk about what happens to your hip mobility, because this might be one of the most important changes you'll experience. Most people have hips that barely move. Sitting all day creates tight hip muscles and limited range of motion that affects everything from walking to getting out of chairs. Turkish get-ups require your hips to move through their full range of motion in multiple directions. The transition from lying to sitting stretches your hip flexors. The movement from kneeling to standing works your hips in completely different ways. Your hips learn to be both mobile and stable at the same time. This hip mobility carries over into every other activity you do. Walking becomes more fluid and effortless. Stairs feel easier. Getting in and out of cars becomes smooth instead of awkward. Your hips start moving like they did when you were younger, with freedom and power that you might have forgotten was possible. And here's something that might surprise you about Turkish get-ups. They're incredible for your balance and coordination. The movement challenges your balance in ways that most exercises simply can't match. You're constantly shifting your weight, changing your base of support, and coordinating complex movement patterns. This kind of balance challenge is incredibly important as we age. It keeps your nervous system sharp and responsive. It improves the connection between your brain and your muscles. It even helps with things like reaction time and spatial awareness in daily life. There's also something called cross-lateral movement happening during Turkish get-ups. This means different parts of your body have to work together in coordinated patterns. This type of movement helps both sides of your brain communicate better, which can improve cognitive function and keep your mind sharp. Now, before we talk about the mental benefits that everyone will love, let me mention that Turkish get-ups are incredibly powerful, but they do require proper instruction to learn safely. If you want to master this movement and get all its benefits, it's worth learning from someone who can guide you through the process step by step. But let's get back to Turkish get-ups and talk about something most people don't expect. The confidence benefits. There's something uniquely empowering about mastering a complex movement like the Turkish get-up. It requires patience, practice, and persistence to get it right. So, when you can smoothly flow from lying on the ground to standing up while holding a weight overhead, you feel incredibly capable and strong. This confidence carries over into other areas of your life. You start believing you can learn new things, tackle challenging projects, and handle whatever life throws at you. The Turkish get-up also builds what I call movement confidence. You become comfortable and capable moving through different positions and levels. You're not afraid of getting down on the ground because you know you can get back up gracefully. This freedom of movement is incredibly liberating. Mental toughness is another huge benefit of Turkish get-ups. This exercise requires focus, concentration, and determination. You can't rush through it or use momentum to cheat. Every part of the movement demands attention and control. When you're halfway through a Turkish get-up and your muscles are working hard, your balance is challenged and your mind wants to give up. But you stay focused and complete the movement anyway. That's building mental resilience. This carries over into other situations where you need to stay calm and focused under pressure. The Turkish get-up also teaches you to break complex challenges into simple steps. The movement has many phases, and you learn to focus on one step at a time instead of being overwhelmed by the whole sequence. This is a valuable life skill that applies to many situations beyond exercise. And here's something that will surprise you about Turkish get-ups. They're fantastic for your posture. The movement requires perfect alignment throughout the entire sequence. Your head has to stay in the right position, your spine has to maintain its natural curves, and your shoulders have to stay stable and strong. This constant attention to alignment carries over into your daily posture. Your body starts to remember what good posture feels like, and you naturally stand and sit taller throughout the day. The strength you build in all the postural muscles helps you maintain good alignment without having to think about it constantly. But let me save you from the most common mistakes that can ruin the benefits of Turkish get-ups and potentially cause injury. These mistakes are common, but they're avoidable once you know what to look for. First mistake, trying to learn the movement too quickly. Turkish get-ups are complex and require time to master. Don't try to rush through the learning process. Break it down into small steps and master each phase before putting it all together. Second mistake, using too much weight too soon. Start with no weight at all, just practicing the movement pattern. Once you can do the movement smoothly, start with a very light weight and progress gradually. Your technique should always be perfect before you add more weight. Third mistake, losing focus on the weight overhead. Throughout the entire movement, your eyes should stay focused on the weight above you, and your arms should stay locked out straight. This helps maintain shoulder stability and keeps you balanced. Fourth mistake, rushing through the movement. Turkish get-ups should be slow and controlled. Each phase should be deliberate and smooth. Speed comes naturally as you get more skilled, but it should never come at the expense of control and stability. And the final mistake, not breathing properly. Because the movement is complex, people often hold their breath trying to concentrate. Remember to breathe steadily throughout the entire sequence. This keeps you relaxed and helps maintain good form. Now you're probably wondering how to get started with Turkish get-ups and how often you should practice them. Don't worry, I've got a simple progression that works for complete beginners and can be advanced as you get more skilled. If you're just starting out, begin by learning the movement without any weight. Practice just the body movement pattern, focusing on smooth transitions between each phase. Work on this for a week or two until it feels natural and coordinated. Once you can do the movement smoothly with just your body weight, start practicing with a light object like a shoe or water bottle. This gives you something to focus on overhead without adding significant weight. Practice this version until it feels easy and automatic. Next, progress to a light weight like a 5 or 10-pound dumbbell. Focus on perfect form and control rather than speed. Do 3 to 5 repetitions per side, 2 to 3 times per week. This gives you plenty of practice without overdoing it. For intermediate practitioners, you can gradually increase the weight as your skill and strength improve. Most people will get incredible benefits with moderate weights. You don't need to use heavy weight to get all the benefits of Turkish get-ups. Advanced practitioners can work with heavier weights, add tempo variations, or practice more frequently. But remember, this is a skill-based exercise. Technique should always be your first priority, regardless of how advanced you become. The most important thing is consistency and patience. Turkish get-ups are a skill that takes time to develop. Don't get frustrated if it feels awkward at first. Every expert was once a beginner. And with consistent practice, you'll be amazed at how quickly your body adapts. Focus on smooth, controlled movement rather than speed or heavy weight. The benefits come from the quality of the movement, not from how much weight you can use or how fast you can complete it. Be sure to share this video with a friend who you think needs it.